Only in the game just to get my fatty. And these lazy ain't got competition. It's me versus me, love Key Talk game.
Key Talk Society, check it out. Before the video gets started, I need y'all to like the video. You know what I'm talking about? You know I'm gonna come with the content every day, all day. You know what I'm talking about? Then like the video for me, take 2 seconds. Anyway, check it out, man. All right. So I know y'all pretty much been wanting some updates on the affiliates of YFN Lucci, because obviously some of his affiliates got caught up inside of the RICO, the racketeering as well. Obviously, when they do any type of RICO racketeering, anything like that, they get a group of people. So a group that goes by the name the Miami Boys, which of course y'all know, one of the more popular one name is CP3. Now, CP3 and then the other guy goes by the name of Lizzem Liddy. So they were actually both sentenced. One got 15 years. The 15 years was the Lizzem Liddy guy, and CP3 was sentenced to 25 years. However, there is a breakdown of it because, you know, the Lizzem Liddy guy, they got 15 years. Not only he's got 15 years, but he's got to serve 10 years, and then of course he gets 5 years probation, and then it says CP3 was sentenced to 25 years, in which he has to serve 14 years of that, and then of course 6 months probation, and then 5 suspended, right? Now CP3 did come out and make some statements to people, not statements in the court. They didn't do no type of snitching at all. They took their guilty pleas, which I'm gonna actually read some of the guilty pleas for y'all so y'all can actually see what they're saying and how different these pleas are than some of the pleas that YSL people actually took, where they had to like agree that certain stuff was criminal and that they would take the stand if called to the stand. We'll see if you know, their agreement say they had to take the stand, which probably not, because like this is the ending of it, right? So actually, you know, let's get into the actual reading the pleas. Oh, well, before we even get into reading the pleas, CP3, which that's the name that a lot of y'all were mentioning in the comments on another video, he actually did come out and pretty much laughing, because he was like, "Oh, you just thought it was over for me," and then he put a lot of laughing emojis. And we do know that YFN Lucci actually has, you know, YFN Lucci actually got like 20 years, but he's gonna be out in like 3.5 months because of time served and some other stuff that they got mixed up in there because of the deal, right?
So many rumors on the internet that this negotiated plea, that we're soon going to see him as a star witness in the YSL case. What can you tell people there?
Anybody that says that's a liar, we all just went to court today, clear as day. There is no cooperation in the YSL case. He will not be testifying in that case. Anybody wants to subpoena him, we'll file a subpoena to quash that subpoena. He wants nothing to do with that case. He's made that clear for 3.5 years. He has said he knows nothing and he will not participate in that case, and he's steadfast. And through 3 weeks of jury.
Now, as far as CP3 go, and as the other guy goes, the Miami Boys is what they call them. So they really from Miami out there sliding in Atlanta for YFN. You know what I'm talking about? It did say that Lucci co-defendants who pled guilty to being shooters at 4PF. Now, when it says at 4PF, it means like in the territory, because that's where that guy had actually got shot and killed, was in the territory of 4PF. What got shot was in the territory of 4PF. It doesn't necessarily mean that he was 4PF. I mean, he could have been, who knows, but that's where they actually shot the guy at, in their territory. And obviously everybody knows that the black gangs don't actually, when we say their territory, we just mean a place where they're occupying and killing each other at, not that they actually control the houses and stuff like that, because we do understand and know that most black gangs don't have any ownership of property where the places where they are killing each other at, right? But anyways, let me go ahead and get into reading the switching fast. Yeah, let me go ahead and get into reading the actual the plea agreement. Now I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this plea agreement, I'm sure it's on that side of the screen or that side of the screen by now. But I'm about to try to read it for y'all, but it's literally so faded away that I know for a fact I probably won't be able to make out a lot of the words, but we will get just the gist of it read, so y'all be able to have you know, some type of understanding of it, just to, you know, like I say, just to compare it to the plea agreements that Young Thug's YSL crew had to take, right? So it says, so the first one is a Leroy Pitts, and this is the guy that got 15 years. So this isn't CP3. This is the first guy, right? But I'm sure CP3 stuff will say the same thing, other than a few numbers that switched around, right? So it says, State of Georgia versus Leroy Pitt's indictment. Then it has the indictment number. Then it says, do you understand that the pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights? You have a presumption of innocence that remains with you until the state produces evidence of your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to a speedy and public trial by judge, jury, whoever you prefer. The right to see, air, or cross-examine all witnesses called to testify against you. The right to compel production of evidence, and yeah, it's so blurry, y'all. And the, let me see if I can make it out. Really can't make it out. Presence of witness in your favor. Made it out. The right to assist of an attorney hired by you or of the court-appointed lawyer, if you pretty much can afford one. The right to remain silent and not testify against yourself, and the right to make the state prove the charge against you. So that's pretty much just letting them know that you're pleading guilty. So they're not having to, the state isn't having to go and do all this extra work, get all this evidence, get all these witnesses. Pretty much what's happening, which is what's happening right now in the Young Thug trial, how they got YSL Tick on the stand, having to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They're pretty much giving all that up and saying, hey, listen, man, forget about doing all that. Just go ahead and give me what y'all gonna give me, right? It says, do you understand that the court may sentence you to a maximum punishment allowed by law, which is imprisonment for a total of, it looked like that say like 205 years, which is wild. But hopefully that's just like a typo or something like that. 205 years and a fine totaling of $60,000 or both. I know that ain't no way that can be 205 years. I ain't gonna count, but it looked like it though for sure. It says, has anyone promised you anything to plead guilty? And of course he said no. And then of course it says, do you understand that the state has promised to recommend a sentence of 15, and then it says /5 years. So I guess it's that 15 years /6. It looks like they wrote a 5, but then they wrote a line and made it into a 6. So, and I guess the slash and the number after that, they're trying to say like that's going to be the probation part, because legal writing is different than like regular people writing. You got to kind of like make out what they're saying if you potentially can, right? Then it says, do you understand that the court does not have to accept the recommendation and can impose the maximum sentence, which looks like it was 205 years, which I doubt it was that, but it was going to be a long time. And that if the sentence is less favorable, and then of course it's marked out there, something by the state, you have the right to withdraw your guilty plea. And of course he said yes. And then they asked him, are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol? Which he said no. Have you told your lawyer all the facts and circumstances knows to you about the charges against you? And of course, you said yes. Are you satisfied with the service and advice of your lawyer? Yes. Do you plead guilty to the charges which has been read to you? He said yes. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to plead guilty? He said no. It says, do you understand that if you are currently on probation, your probation may be revoked because of your guilty plea? Which he said yes. And he said, I'm a U.S. citizen. And the part of it all says, do you offer this guilty plea freely and voluntarily with a full understanding of the charges against you, and it is your own decision to plead guilty? Do you understand you have 4 years from today's date to file a writ of habeas corpus as to the felony charges, and 1 year to file a writ of habeas corpus on misdemeanor charges? So as we can hear from that, right, and what I just read, that's going to be the paperwork that, of course, CP3 had to sign as well, except it's going to say we're going to recommend 25 years rather than 15 years like they did for this guy, right? That'll be pretty much the only difference. But within all this, you can see how this agreement was much different than the plea agreements that the YSL team had to sign, or the YSL gang, whatever you want to call them. The YSL, according to YSL Tick, is a gang. So that YSL had to sign, right? So YSL's was more like, have you guys been doing criminal activity stuff? They say yes. Or have you guys been further in the RICO? They say yes. If we need you to take the stand and tell us everything that you're saying right now, will you come take the stand and retell us that y'all are all criminal organization? They say yes. So That's pretty much the difference of it all. But like I say, CP3 doesn't seem too mad that this is, his fate that he has, and the other. Excuse me. And the other guy, I guess he ain't too mad about it at all either, because more than likely something's going to happen where they're going to be able to get out. Just like Lucci got 25 years or whatever like that, sentenced that to 20 years, but was able to get out in 3.5 months somehow, some way. The lawyers are going to pull a string. So, and then these guys have already been locked up. So they, like I said, they're going to get some time served in there. So they probably be out in no time. Who knows? We'll see. But anyways, let me know some. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about this entire ordeal.